Welcome, everybody. This is the Thursday, October 28th, 2021 Conservation Commission meeting for the town of Ayer. Due to the ongoing COVID-19 pandemic, in accordance with Chapter 20 of the Act of 2021, suspending certain provisions of the Open Meeting Law, OML, public bodies otherwise governed by the OML are temporarily relieved from the requirement that meetings be held in public places, open and physically accessible to the public, so long as measures are taken to ensure public access to the body's deliberations through adequate alternative means. This meeting will be live on Zoom. The public may participate remotely by joining Zoom meeting ID number 840-4058-0886 or by calling 929-205-6099. For additional information about remote participation, please contact Joanne Christoff, Conservation Agent, at jchristoff, CRYSTOFF, at air.ma.us or 978-772-8220, extension 143, prior to the meeting. Okay, with that, do we have approval of the meeting minutes for October 14th? Any comments, questions, concerns on those?
Oh, Mark, you probably want to go through and introduce each of us since we're on remote.
Okay, thanks for the reminder. Appreciate that. So I'm Mark Phillips, Vice Chair, sitting in for John Schmallenberger, who couldn't be with us tonight. We have Joanne Christoff, our Conservation Agent. We have Jen Amaya, Conservation Member. Jess Gugino, Conservation Member and Clerk. And George Bacon, Conservation Member. All right. So with that, we'll circle back then to any comments or concerns on the meeting minutes.
They're wonderful, as always.
Yeah.
Actually, I'm going to back up one. I'm supposed to do confirmation of agenda, was I not?
Oh, yeah.
Actually get into the agenda. So I think there was a minor change or two, Joanne. Can you just remind us of that?
Yes, very, very minor changes. Ed Kelly cannot be with us tonight for his RDA. And Jim Gareffi from Neshoba Associated Boards of Health would like to be moved down one slot because he's got a conflict. And other than that, we're good.
Okay, thank you. And he thinks, or we think, just one slot will be enough, you believe?
Well, we will hope so.
Okay. All right, great, thank you. Okay, so with that, do we have a motion to accept the agenda as amended? George, you're on mute.
So moved.
Thank you.
Second?
Thanks, Jen. Moved by George Bacon, seconded by Jen Amaya. We'll call. Jen, how do you vote?
Aye.
Jess, how do you vote?
Aye.
George?
Aye.
And I vote aye. Approved unanimously. Okay. So moving on to the agenda then. Now we can talk about the approval of the meeting minutes from the 14th. So yes, we're written very well. Any other comments, Jen or George?
No.
No.
All right. We have a motion to approve the minutes from October 14th, 2021 as written.
So moved.
Second?
It's moved by George Bacon, seconded by Jen Amaya. Quick roll call. Jen?
Aye.
Yes.
Aye.
George?
Aye.
And Vice Chair votes aye. Approved unanimously. Thank you. Payables report. Joanne, do we have anything?
We don't have anything this time.
All right. And then at this moment, we typically have a short section where we look for public input. I know we have a number of folks on the line and possibly a number of folks interested in Stratton Hill. So unless you have a comment about Stratton Hill, which we'll discuss a little bit later, is there any public input on any other topic besides Stratton Hill that's not on our agenda already? All right, hearing none, we'll move on from there. Thank you. So the next item on the agenda is the public meeting for a notice of possible violation, 27 Harvard Road, Theodore Maxent, Assessors Map 35, Parcel 21. So I think I see Theodore here.
I see him.
Okay, yep, I see his name there. Theodore or Ted, I guess it, yep, can come off mute, that'd be great. And Joanne, can you explain to us what we've got?
Sure, I'm gonna do a little screen sharing while I'm doing that. Um, All right, there we go. This is the thing I was going to screen share. Ted, are you there?
I'm here. Can you hear me?
We can hear you now.
It said,
So 27 Harvard Road, I'm circling with my cursor, if you can see, is the former gas station that is across the street from the new Alltown Fresh gas station.
Mhm.
The former gas station site is owned now by Ted Maxent, and he's been doing some improvements to the property. And I cannot be sure that these improvements are in fact out of the 100-foot buffer zone to this intermittent stream that crosses under Harvard Road through a culvert right here. It's the brush is very, very thick, and I have been unable and frankly unwilling to crawl through it to drag a tape.
That's an understatement. Tough.
come on, Joanne.
My unwillingness or the thickness of the brush is an understatement. Let's hope it's the latter.
You're talking nasty stuff.
Oh, yes, yes. So Ted has put a stake in about, oh, I don't know, here or so.
Yeah,
And-
it's pretty good, pretty good.
Yep, and he assures me that it is in fact 100 feet away from blue flagging that must have been placed as part of the project next door.
Yes, I think so. However, in that grassy green section, we never had any activity other than to regrass the area that's in the open space. What you showed me on one of those earlier 2000 aerial photographs where the Parmentier house was, it was a junkyard. So we
You all see this other photo?
yeah,
Yep.
there's that house, and you can see the junk in the back. Well,
Was
I
that
cleaned up
2008, does it say, Joanne?
I cleaned up all the junk and took it to the metal pile. The house is gone. And then I think the town tore it down. And then what you see now is a grassy area, and that's it. But
Right.
any vegetation We never had any activity. Those big trees and everything you see there still exist. It's simply a reseeding. Reseeding was what we really did.
Well, there was brush cut along the edge, and there was loam spread and raked. I'm recommending that the commission take a site walk and that we go wearing armor.
You better believe it.
So we can.
But the fact is that no machinery was ever from where your arrow is now to there. It was pre-existing exactly as you see it, except for cleaning up the trash. It was littered all over the site.
Mark, about a minute.
Good, thanks, Jen. Okay, so yeah, I think the recommendation, as you said, and it probably would be worthwhile. Maybe we can do a site walk out, take a quick look at that. George or Jess and Jen, any comments or questions?
No, I just had originally thought you were talking about Bowers Brook that the intermittent stream runs into, but it's a separate thing.
Well, and I don't think that they've gotten closer than 100 feet on the
Yeah,
back
it didn't
side
look
here,
great.
but
I'm
you know,
quite sure of that.
we should look at that too.
Okay, all right.
Yeah, there were blue flags out there. Probably it was surveyed by what's the name of that company? Allianz Energy that owns the gas station across the street. Prior to removing all the gas tanks and that shack that was there, surrounded by trees, they probably did a site plan to make sure that they were not within the 100-foot buffer, just as a preemptive thing. But they did remove that shack and that cluster of trees.
All right, well, why don't we, we're gonna have to go out and take a look anyways, so, before we get into too extensive of a discussion on it, we can figure that out once we get out there, hopefully. Does anybody have a preference? I'm thinking our typical Tuesday, if that works for folks, which would be
Tuesday
November
works.
2nd.
Yep, that's fine.
Plus
Yeah,
the weather looks good.
Okay. 4:30 or 45, any time, anything?
4:30 works for me.
Ted,
Yeah.
can you meet us out there, you think, at that time on Tuesday? Ted, you still there? I think we lost Ted.
He's still on.
Ted, are you still there?
Yeah, I'm here.
Oh, good. Can you meet us Tuesday at 4:30 on the site?
Yeah, will you send me an email to that effect so that I don't miss that time frame?
Yes,
Would you do that, please, for me?
yes, I
Sure.
will.
But just for clarification, that's Tuesday, November 2nd.
Yeah, 4:30 is good.
4:30 p.m.
We have an election in the town of Harvard. But I think it's gonna work. The election is from 3 to 5, I think, or 3 to 8. It's gonna be okay.
There you go. Vote early.
All right, we'll see you there.
All right. Thanks, Ted.
So you're gonna send me an email, that's for sure, because I'm not.
I absolutely will.
Okay.
Kate, we done? Can I have my dinner now?
I believe so. Right. It's a public meeting. We don't have to continue anything, correct? If I'm not mistaken, Jess or George.
Right, right.
Thank you. Yep. Thanks, Ted. Talk to you later.
Okay, bye.
All right. Next item on our agenda is a public meeting that was continued from last time for a request for determination of applicability, RDA, for 7 Mountain View Avenue.
Yep.
For Pat Hall, Assessors Map 22, Parcel 9.
And as I did last week, I'm going to recuse myself and continue taking notes, but I will cease to participate for this one since I'm in a butter.
Thank you, Jess.
We still have enough people to vote with Jess not voting.
Yeah, just requires, it can pass with 3
Okay, cool, thanks.
or get rejected with 3, whatever.
Okay, so this one, John and I went out, took a look at Pat's site. Pat, there you are. Hi, Pat.
Yep, I'm here.
And in reviewing what she had there for George and for Jen's edification. So basically, we've got what looks to be shiplap vertically placed up and down, kind of driven into the sand there. Behind it appears to be railroad ties that are secured with probably a steel rebar of some sort. And then I believe that shiplap is again pounded into the sand and probably also nailed against the railroad ties. So in looking at it, it is quite sandy if you can't tell by the picture, but there is some lapping going up and down there. And I know, Pat, you had indicated that the folks you had talked to with regards to coming in and making the repairs really wanted some input from us before they went ahead and did anything, because they weren't sure if we were going to ask for rocks, if we were going to ask for more wood, if whatever the case may be, correct?
Right. When I'd reached out to, it was 2 different companies just to kind of get an idea of what it would involve before I came to you. And they said, particularly the one that I've been working with, who has been most responsive, has said, rather than them coming to me with a proposal of what to do, they would rather have input from the commission saying if there's certain items that they don't want, that you don't want used. Like, in other words, they didn't want to say, okay, we're going to use pressure treated wood and have you say you can't use pressure treated wood. So, and then they have to redo their work. So they're kind of, they're open to what guidelines you guys can give us on that.
Okay, all right. So Jen and George, as John and I kind of reviewed the site and looked at the site, obviously it's holding back quite a bit of sand. It is about, probably 12, maybe 15 inches of height between the let's say the shoreline and then basically the base of the wood, the shoreline base, and then up to the top of where the wood sits. You know, as we thought through it, if they're to remove that wood prior to actually creating a new barrier, you're probably anticipating sand slopping down, washing down, and kind of washing away. So John and I thought a little bit about potentially taking, since it is sand, just essentially driving 4x4 pressure treated posts, you know, maybe sort of sharpened, penciled, you know, to a point of some sort down into the ground, either by mechanical means, if they can actually get something down there to do that, or simply by bringing a manned 2-person auger to basically just drill a hole down into the sand, place these posts down in there, and then on those posts, put essentially dig out in the raised area and dig out and create that new barrier before they remove the barrier that's closest to the shoreline, so that whatever sand Pat does have there would kind of stay in place.
1 minute.
Thanks, Jen. So that was kind of what our thought was. George and Jen, any additional questions for Pat on that, or myself, I guess?
No, I mean, if that works with what Pat needs, sounds fine to me.
Yeah, I'm fine with that. I mean, I don't have any restrictions on materials. So however they want to do it, just as long as they take the proper precautions to keep the soil from going in the pond while they're working.
Yeah. Yeah, at the end of the day, I think as Pat described, it's sand. It's literally all sand that's been brought in, right, Pat?
Yeah, over many, many years.
Yeah.
Before we had the wall, over the winter and with rainstorms, it would wash away. So every couple of years we bring more in and the same thing would happen until we put that wall in about 15 years ago.
Yeah, so George, I guess to your point, I don't think there's a risk of any dirt or soil of any sort going in there, so they should be able to, again, with the, one of those augers, if it's sand, literally, it'll take 2 seconds to go right down through sand,
Mhm.
be able to clean that out and place that pole in there with minimal disturbance, backfill that, and then put some barrier behind that 4x4 post, essentially creating a wall behind the existing wall so that when they take that existing wall down, there's minimal sand slopping down, which again, will go into sandy pond, which is sand, I suppose.
Okay,
Makes sense. So with that, I guess, I wonder if we want to make a motion to issue a negative determination on this one.
so moved.
Second,
All right, we'll take a vote. Jen,
aye.
George,
Aye,
and I vote aye. And just for the record, Jess has recused herself, but with 3 votes, we do have an approval. So Pat, I think the way I described it, and Joanne, if need be, maybe you could work with Pat just to kind of lay that out a little bit, the way I described it. Obviously, if you need to, we can chat some more.
Sure, Pat, just give me a call at the office. I'll have this document ready for you on Monday.
Okay,
So just give a call anytime. I can either put this in the mail to you, certified mail, but it would be easier and quicker if you just came to pick it up.
I can easily do that. So
Okay.
I'll give you a call on Monday.
Yes,
Okay, perfect.
good, thanks.
All right.
Thanks,
Thank you
Pat.
very much.
Take care.
Thank you.
All right, the next item on our agenda is another request for determination of applicability. 20 Oak Ridge Drive, Edward Kelly, assessors map 20, parcels 42 and 43. So as you said, Ed is not able to make it. So there's no one representing him at all, correct, Joanne?
Right. I did let him know that I thought this was probably a simple matter for the commission, and that I would recommend that you go ahead and issue this even
Okay.
without him here.
Yep, and I don't see any problem. Jen and George, John, Jess, and I all went out, reviewed the trees that he was looking to take down, and definitely pose a hazard. Actually suggested another, I think 1, maybe 2 other ones that were dead and kind of right in the area, at least to top them a little bit. I believe, Jess, correct me if I'm wrong, I think he indicated he was possibly going to leave some taller stumps possibly in some
Yeah,
of them.
So, yep,
Yeah, to essentially create some woodpecker habitat. They did indicate that they had a couple pileated woodpeckers, utilizing the trees. So everything seemed fine, and like I said, definitely a hazard to the home. Questions? George or Jen? Jess, anything to add?
Nope, it's a straightforward.
All right, so I'd like to make a motion then to, I'm sorry, can we make a motion for issuing a negative RDA for 20 Oak Ridge Drive, Mr. Edward Kelly?
so moved.
Second,
All right, we'll take a quick roll call vote. Jen, how do you vote?
aye.
Jess, how do you vote?
I,
George, how do you vote?
Aye,
Vice Chair votes aye. Approved unanimously. Joanne, you'll be able to send that off to Ed then?
yes, they should be back in town today, I think tonight. So I'll get get in touch with him.
Okay, great. Thank you. Moving on to the next item on our agenda. We have another RDA for 30 Central Ave, Neshoba Associated Boards of Health, Jim Garrity.
Yep, I'm here.
Oh, hi, Jim.
Hi, how are you?
Good. Assessors map 27, parcel 44. So this one, we also went out and took a look at last week, Tuesday. Or was it this week, Tuesday? No, it was last week, Tuesday. Sorry. And reviewed the site. Jim was able to show us the essentially the plans, the work that they were planning to do with regards to the find my drawing here.
Was this the one that he wanted us to wait until he was here?
Jim's here.
Oh, he is?
Yep. Hi.
Oh.
Good evening.
Ah, there you are.
Yeah, you are correct, Jess. I was going to move it down one, but since he's here, I saw that I just kept going.
Oh, yeah, no, I
Thank you.
didn't see.
So yeah, we went out, we looked at the plans with Jim. I guess I'll see what the others think. I do have a little concern with the amount of work going on right so close to the intermittent stream there. That I'm kind of leaning towards this not just being a simple RDA, but probably requiring an NOI. Just being that you were on the site also, I guess I'd like to get your opinion and then we can see what George and Jen have to say.
Right, one of the things that was not mentioned last time, but was on the site walk, were the number of trees along the side of the parking area closer to the intermittent stream that are going to be taken down. So, and also where the basin's supposed to be. So on both those, on that score, I'd probably agree with Mark.
Jen, any questions from what you had seen or read through?
No, I'm looking at the plan now, but I trust you and Justin, your thoughts on it. So if you think it's an NOI, then that's fine.
Okay. George?
No, no questions.
Okay. So Jim, with regards to an NOI, just again, a little bit different filing that has to occur. And Joanne, I believe you'd be willing to help him go through some of that, correct?
Yeah, I'm happy to help, but I have a feeling Jim doesn't really need any help with this.
I may ask you for some assistance on the paperwork, but yep,
Okay.
thanks. Or process anyway, so thank you.
All right.
One thing I'd add was we had talked about on the site walk, because the basin would be only about a foot off the sidewalk, even though it wouldn't be deep, that we had talked about perhaps putting in some kind of fencing so that somebody tottering along the sidewalk doesn't step to the side and break a leg or something like that.
Yep,
So
I
that
understand.
should be indicated.
Sure.
All right. So with that, Jim, any other questions on that?
No, I guess I'll talk to Joanne about the process. I guess that's the thing. I guess there's some different paperwork and see what I need to do to file.
Okay, great. So we make them, or do we have a motion then to issue a positive RDA? I'm sorry, positive determination for the RDA at 30 Central Ave, Neshoba Associated Boards of Health.
So moved.
Second,
All right, we'll take a quick roll call on that. Jen, how do you vote?
aye.
Jess, how do you vote? George, how do you vote?
Aye.
And Vice Chair votes aye also. So it's unanimous. All right, thanks, Jim.
Thank
We'll
you.
be hearing from you soon. Thanks.
Okay, thank you.
Take care. All right. Moving right along, next one on our agenda is a public meeting. Also RDA at 71 Nashua Street. Jesse Clinton, Assessor's Map 13, Parcel 42. Is Jesse out there?
Yep.
Oh, there she is.
There she is. Okay.
Oh, Mark,
Yes,
before we
Leslie?
get started, sorry, just a quick question for George, our stage. So in light of Jess recusing herself from her neighbor and friend, I'm wondering if I should then recuse myself from my neighbor here, just for this, not like totally recusing myself. All
Yeah, I would say yes.
right, so I'll still keep time, but I won't say anything.
All right, great. Thanks, Jen. All right, Jesse. So with that, if you'd like, why don't you tell us where you've gotten with your driveway issues? We cannot hear you.
You're muted.
Uh,
She doesn't show muted on my screen. Is there somebody controlling that besides her?
yeah, I don't see that she is muted, but we definitely can't hear her.
Okay, Jesse. Maybe you're double muted. That often happens.
Technology.
We did have a suggestion earlier when this happened to somebody else to just turn up your speaker, maybe? And it worked. Oh,
Maybe check
aha.
your volume.
This
Oh.
is very clever.
What is?
There, Ryan Clinton has entered the meeting. Let's see if we can hear him.
Can you hear me?
We
We
can.
I can hear me.
Ryan.
Early video. All right, there we go.
Wonderful.
We'll try this again. Sorry about that. So this is revision 2 for this. So we met with our landscaper and asked what we could do to shore up the side of our driveway, but not disturb any soil in the wetland area. So the revised proposal is to basically put a short retaining wall right on the side of the driveway that would extend the flat part of the driveway about 2 feet out. So they would dig down about 2 feet. There are pictures in the package that I submitted, if you guys have that in front of you, but basically dig down 2 feet and then put precast concrete blocks in place and then backfill them with trap rock. So this would keep all excavations away from the stream. No soil around the stream would be disturbed. And the only soil that would be disturbed is immediately next to the driveway.
Okay. So you're going about 2 feet deep from the existing rock that you had tossed in there or whatever down. I'm trying to think, does that keep that above the culverts?
So when I say 2 feet deep, I mean 2 feet from the flat surface of the driveway. So I don't think we'd actually be excavating very much.
Yeah, it would really be the top of the concrete blocks would be flush with the driveway and excavating just enough to make that happen.
Oh, okay. So what, are you going to dig in essentially what, 1 block deep, 2 blocks deep, do you think?
Exactly.
Something like that.
Yeah, I think the blocks that they suggested were 2 feet tall, if I remember right. So it'd be 1 block deep. And they're heavy enough to hold their own weight, so we don't need any mortar or sand or anything like that.
Okay, okay. We got like one of those back lips to kind of support the outward push of the rock or whatever.
Yeah,
Is that
something
like a
like
little
that.
flange on the back side of it or whatever?
I think so. They had something in mind. I'm not sure exactly what it would look like, but they're in the ones that I have as an example are often used in retaining walls for like highways and things like that. They're
Okay.
pretty big. They're 2 foot by 2 foot by 4 feet.
2 foot, 2 foot. Okay. All right.
So on the picture you submitted, it said 2-foot tall wall. I pictured that coming above the ground, but you're saying no, it's going down into the ground.
The top of that 2 feet will be about level with the driveway.
Yeah,
Because it's such a slope, that 2 feet will probably take up most of that slope.
okay.
We're
And you-
basically digging a little ledge
Yeah.
corner
Yeah.
into that slope and sticking a brick in there and then putting gravel on top of it.
So are you thinking, did you say two layers of the blocks or just one layer?
Probably just one.
Okay,
Yeah, at 2 feet by 2 feet by 4 feet, those are not going anywhere.
No.
I sure hope not.
Sure hope not.
and the 4 feet, is that the length?
Yeah,
Yep.
that's the length.
Okay,
And that may change a little bit based on, like the length may change a little bit based on the blocks that they actually procure, but the overall size should be pretty similar.
All right. And Jesse, how far down, like how, what sort of distance beyond the culvert are you going?
So
5
like
feet?
beyond,
no more?
so I think the front of that block will be probably halfway between like the edge of the driveway and the front of those little tubes that go into the driveway,
Mhm.
roughly.
All right, so you're anticipating that the extent of the wall is going to be no more than 2-3 feet beyond the edges of the culvert, the sidelines of the culvert, basically.
Yes.
Okay.
We do want to leave enough of a slope. We want to leave the existing slope there right above the tubes, and we want to try to leave the tubes undisturbed as much as possible.
Yeah. The only thing that
Drainage, pre-existing ones.
yeah, and again, I'm trying to remember from when we were out there. I guess what concerns me is that the culvert side or the wetland side, let's say, of that 2-foot square block, that there might not be much supporting that back side of it. I mean, I guess we'll see once they start to excavate there and lay that block in there, how much is supporting on the backside. You know, depending on just road, you know, the runoff from the driveway and stuff like that, you know, would that potentially wash away? I guess that would be my one concern. Can they be drilled through? Can they put a rebar down through it somehow to like secure it somewhat
So
permanently?
I think the weight will be sufficient. So I did talk to a civil engineer friend of mine and passed all kinds of ideas past him. And he thought that the weight of the concrete would be sufficient to hold it in place. As long as we have sufficient drainage stone behind it, it shouldn't wash away. So they were planning on putting, after they excavate, a little bit of graded road base to compact it so that it has a solid surface to sit on.
Okay.
And the rest of the cavity between the wall and the driveway with trap rock so that it drains well.
Okay. Yeah, I guess it's worth a try. Jen, any questions? Oh, that's right. I'm sorry. Yeah, you're recusing yourself. Sorry. Jess, any other questions?
nope, I'm good.
George?
I'm good.
Okay. All right. We have a motion then to issue a negative RDA based on the latest plans provided by the Clintons for 71 Nashua Street.
So moved.
Yes, would you like the second?
Yep, second. And we would still have erosion controls that would be inspected by Joanne. Okay.
Yep, I'll put sill fences up.
Oh, yes, thank you. All right.
Some
We'll take a quick
Yeah, it's fine. I'll put more in.
we'll take a quick roll call vote then. George, how do you vote?
Aye.
Jess, how do you vote?
Aye.
And Vice Chair votes aye. So you're approved. Jesse and Ryan, thanks for stopping by.
Thank you.
Okay. Right. Next item on our agenda is an RDA for Pondview condominiums. Merrill Edelman. trustee, Sunflower Court, assessors map 7, parcel 70. Is Meryl here? Oh, there
I'm
she
right
is.
here. Yep. Thank
Meryl,
you.
How are you?
Good. Thanks. Thanks so much for taking this on.
Yeah, well, welcome. Thank you so much for coming to talk with us. So why don't you describe to us what you are looking to do?
There are 2 trees that were planted 6 feet from the foundation of these. These are duplexes. They're duplexes with townhomes on either side. And in doing a tree survey, we discovered that there were 2 trees planted 6 feet from the foundation of each of these homes, which is already causing some damage. But the regulations say they were supposed to have been planted 15 feet away. So we'd like to remove those 2 trees and eventually plant replacement trees at the appropriate 15-foot distance from those 2 homes, as well as we'd like to ask permission to trim a couple of the black birches in the conservation area that are encroaching on the, I think it's the back of 1 Sunflower Court, but they're starting to encroach over the fence and causing some damage there. I think I marked it fairly clearly on the survey on the map.
Okay. Yeah, I'm looking at the map now. I believe when I initially looked at it, I'm looking at Turtle Hill Road and I saw nothing, but now as I look over to Sunflower Court, I actually.
Yeah, it's closer to the pond.
Okay, all right, yeah. So it's the white X's that you had.
Yeah.
put in?
Yeah.
Okay. So the 2 X's right near the edge of the home, the property, I take it those are the 2 trees you want to take down.
Those are the 2 trees, yeah. And then there's a section actually in the conservation area where we just would like to get permission to trim back a couple of the black birches because they are encroaching on the homes.
Okay, you want to trim back just some of the branches that are.
Yeah,
coming
some of the
over-
branches that are starting so that they aren't going over the fences.
Okay. Jen, any questions?
No, I'm still trying to find the X's on the map I have.
Yeah, I don't have X's on my map either.
Oh, I'm glad I'm not the only one.
Yeah, I think you want to look towards the top, there's a little cluster of 3 homes, kind of like almost an arrow. And then you see very light white spots. I think those are the X's.
Are we doing a site visit on this one?
Yeah, more than likely is probably where we're going to go.
Then I'll stop worrying about it and look at them on the site visit.
Yeah. Yeah, we were rather surprised when we kind of were doing the inspection and discovered how close they were. Those 2 were planted next to the homes.
Okay,
So there's 1 for each of the duplexes? So 2 total?
There's 2 total, yeah. And again, the intent is to, what we really would like to do is after we get this initial tree work done is put in a kind of a longer term plan so that we can replant trees at the appropriate place and continue kind of to maintain the look, kind of landscaping look without doing damage to the homes.
okay. George, any questions or site walk? Tell them what the plan.
No, I'm good.
Good for the site walk, you mean?
Yeah, if you want, I don't see the need for sidewalk. If you want to have one, that's fine.
Okay. Jess?
I
Two.
sort of am with George. I don't see the need. This seems pretty straightforward.
Yeah,
You
That's
comfortable
fine.
with that, Jen?
yeah.
I think one of us ought to have eyes on this, and I'm happy to, as your duly appointed deputy, to go out there and take a look. But I think somebody needs to go look.
Yeah, I was going to recommend that. I was just going to ask you if you had been out there yet, but it sounds like you haven't. So if that's the case, then would you mind swinging by there and maybe reporting back to us?
Yep, I can do that. Yeah,
Yeah, and Joanne, if you want to let me know, I'd be happy to meet you.
okay. Yep, that would be great sometime the middle of the week, probably. All right, good.
Great. Thank you so much.
Okay, thank you, Merrill. Then I assume, Joanne, do you think we'd have room on our next agenda to go through this then?
Yes, yep.
Okay. Does that work with you, Merrill? Is that okay?
Yeah, that's perfect. And I've already got this marked down on my calendar. So
Okay, great. Well, thank you for coming in, and we'll be talking to you in a couple weeks.
very good. Thanks again so much. Have a good evening.
Thanks, you too. Bye-bye. All right. So the next one is the public hearings. 13, I'm sorry, I'd like to open the public hearing for 13 notices of intent for 0 Washington Street, Panther Place, open space residential development subdivision. Joseph Levine, Northeast Site Development LLC's Assessors Map 13, parcels 12, 13, and 14. Joseph, how are you, Jeff?
I'm good, thank you. How are you?
Good. So we did get some NOIs for lots 1, 2, and 3. Joanne, do you have any info you want to pass along as we get started?
Well, let's see, for lots 1, 2, and 3, I've been back and forth with Brian Butler, Joe's representative on this, on the orders of conditions, and also, here comes the cat, also back and forth with some mapping that the commission had requested for each individual lots to make this a more transparent process for potential home buyers and future homeowners, so that everyone would completely understand where the wetland resources are, where the various kinds of buffer zones are. And I'm happy to say that this afternoon, I received just what I was looking for. And I think I've emailed it all to you. So each of the lots now has a color-coded, pretty simple to understand representation of the conservation issues on these properties. And so we've got the plan. Brian has looked over the orders. We're missing one word and have a couple of tiny edits to make, which I will do Monday before these are issued. And I think you're all in good shape to go ahead and issue these.
Okay. How much in the commission?
I think those plans are great and should be the standard that we use moving forward for homeowner clarity.
Jess, any?
That would be fine with me. Yep.
And George?
Yeah, I'm fine. I agree.
All right. Yeah, while I think these look pretty good, I'd probably go one more step, and the 50-foot buffer, it would be nice to see it, like maybe red crosshatched of some sort. That's my personal recommendation. But as long as you guys are all okay with it, and you know, we can stick with this for now. I do have one question though, with regards, Joe, on the limit of work, like on lots 3 and 4, that, solid parallel line that's basically in the middle there in the 100-foot buffer zone. That's all laid out with the silk fencing and everything, and the tree clearing will abide by that big jut, I guess I'd say, from lot 3 to 4.
It's already done. Yeah.
Okay.
I actually had that clearing line survey located. So it wasn't just a cartoon.
Okay.
So I had it survey located, and S&M came out and followed the flags and everything. So it was done appropriate. It wasn't just, we're close enough. So yeah.
Okay.
Joanne, I can share the plan if the chair or the commissioners or vice chair wish, but I think Joe's just answered the question.
Oh, well, that would be a good idea, I think, Brian, just so
You
that.
need to give me permission.
Let's see.
For
I
sharing.
just turned it on, Joanne. This is
There we
Cindy.
go.
Okay, thanks, Cindy. You should be set.
Are you looking at the screen with my little cursor going
Yes.
around?
Yes,
Yeah.
we are.
Great, okay. And the gentleman's question a moment ago was
Yeah, if you go to lot 3,
3 and 4, this line here, and Joe, as Joe commented, that was staked and surveyed by S&M, or surveyed in and then staked. And the fence alignment reflects that jog here. And as you can see, that's meant to stagger the homes to make a little less of a, to make the houses offset from each other, just for aesthetics and.
right. Yeah, no, I understand that. I guess my concern was that, was it actually cleared that way, that way properly in the field? So lot 2, you come in, I don't know, what is that? 30, 40 feet to the lot 3 clearing line, and then you jot back out, 60, 70 feet out to the lot 4 clearing line. So I just wanted to make sure that it actually was physically done in the field that way too.
Yep.
That's what's there right now, because they're about 95% done with the tree clearing, and that's how it was done.
Okay, all right, great, thank you.
And Mark, to your point about having some hatching or something in the inner 50, we got stippling. Yes, I don't know if you can.
Yeah, I see it on my copy. This.
Okay.
Stippled. Yeah.
That layer just disappeared on here for some reason. It's somewhere, but I assume it'll.
Yeah, I think I just saw it a second ago. So
there it goes.
Yeah. Okay. All right. Well, we appreciate that. Okay. I guess if there's no other questions, can we get a motion to approve the notice of intent for lots 1, 2, and 3?
I would suggest doing a vote for each one separate, since we're only doing the 3 tonight.
Okay.
Just do motion for lot 1, motion for lot 2.
Okay, I will do that, Jess. So we have a motion for lot 1, DEP file 100-4, I'm sorry, 0463. Approve the notice of intent as submitted.
So move.
Second,
Was moved by
Question,
George.
are we approving the notice of intent or drafting of an order of conditions, or it sounds like the orders are ready?
The orders are ready.
So this should be voting to approve the notice of intent and the draft order of conditions. Would that be correct, Joanne?
I think so. George, what do you think?
I think it'd be you approve the order of conditions and sign it.
Yeah.
Yeah, and we're back to me signing in ink over all of your typed signatures.
Right.
Yep, and that's all ready to go.
So you want to revise that motion, George?
So revise the motion to be approval of the NOI for lot 1 in addition to signing the draft order of conditions for lot 1, file number 100-0463.
Yeah, except they're not draft anymore.
Yeah. Approve an issue, I'd say.
All right.
So moved.
Second,
Approved. Seconded by, it was moved by George Bacon, seconded by Jenna Maya. We'll do a quick roll call vote. Jen, how do you vote?
aye.
Jess, how do you vote?
Aye.
George, how do you vote?
Aye.
Vice Chair votes aye. Approved. I think we get it right on the next one. Motion-
And then we have to make a motion to close the public hearing.
Each one individually, Jess?
I think so.
Yeah.
For the formal votes, yeah.
Okay, all right. So do we have a motion to close the public hearing for Lot 1 DEP file number 100-0463?
So moved.
Second,
It was moved by George Bacon, seconded by Jen Amaya. And we'll do a quick roll call vote for that. Jen, how do you vote?
aye.
Jess, how do you vote?
Aye.
George, how do you vote?
Aye.
Vice Chair votes aye. Approved unanimously. All right, so we can get it right for the second one. We have a motion to approve the NOI and approve the order of condition for Lot 2 DEP file 100-0464.
So moved.
Seconded,
Moved by George Bacon, they're seconded by Jenna Maya. Roll call vote. Jen, how do you vote?
aye.
Jess, how do you vote?
Aye.
And George, how do you vote?
Aye.
Vice Chair votes aye, approved unanimously. And last but not least, we have a motion to approve the NOI and the draft, I'm sorry, and the order of conditions for Lot 3 DEP file. Oops, hold on, we want to close the hearing on Lot 2. Motion to, to close the hearing for Lot 2 DEP file 100-0464.
So moved.
Seconded,
All right, quick roll call vote. Jen, how do you vote?
aye.
Jess, how do you vote?
Aye.
George, how do you vote?
Aye.
Vice Chair votes aye. Approved. And last but not least, we have a motion to approve the notice of intent and the order of the conditions for Lot 3 DEP file 100-0465.
So moved.
Seconded,
Do a roll call vote. Jen, how do you vote?
aye.
Jess, how do you vote?
Aye.
George, how do you vote?
Aye.
Vice Chair votes aye. Approved unanimously. And last but not least, do we have a motion to close the public hearing for Lot 3 DEP file 100-0465?
So moved.
Second,
We'll do a roll call vote. Jen, how do you vote?
aye.
Jess, how do you vote?
Aye.
And George, how do you vote?
Aye.
Vice Chair votes aye. Also approved unanimously. Okay. Joanne, is there anything that folks will be picking up from you, and when will those be ready for them?
They should be ready late in the day on Monday, later in the afternoon, and I know Joe's preference is to come pick them up. Joe, is that still what you would like to?
Would it, I mean, I can either pick them up Monday afternoon, or I can just come by Tuesday morning. What makes your life easier?
Oh, Tuesday morning would take a little of the pressure off. This is an awful lot of stuff to issue.
Well, then let me take a little bit of pressure off if I can.
Thank you.
So
Thank
I will
you
swing
very
by Tuesday morning. And I guess the last question I have for you and the rest of the board is, at the next meeting, how many lots shall we come back with in this format? Seeing that, as if I take a term from Brian's last meeting, I think we banged the dent outs. So we kind of have a model here. So what is the board comfortable with us coming back with of the remaining lots.
I'm gonna say that the commission's agent is comfortable with 3, but it's of course up to the commission.
Yeah, I was gonna recommend the same, knowing some of the other stuff I think we have that's gonna pop up on our next agenda.
Okay. All right.
That we would stick with 3 for now.
All right, that's fine. So we'll do 3 more.
We'll plan on 4, 5, and 13 in that case?
Yes,
Okay.
All right.
All right, folks, thank you.
Well, thank you very much. I
Thank
appreciate
you all.
it.
Have a good evening.
Have a
Yep,
good night.
Great night. Bye-bye.
And then we just have to continue, have to do that tedious, continue lots 4, 5, and 13 to
Next meeting.
November 18th.
I think we actually have to continue them all to the,
Continue 10, right?
Yeah,
Yeah.
Okay.
or could we continue the other ones to at least December 2nd? And then,
well, I think what we did for this meeting was to continue them all to this meeting.
Right.
We just got rid of 3.
right,
That would be the easiest way for me to keep track of it, honestly. If we just keep continuing the whole bunch of them until we run out of them.
okay.
Right, so we would continue the remaining 10, Joanne, is what you're thinking?
That's what I'm thinking. George,
think-
does that sound like the thing to do?
Yeah, I think that would keep us all sane.
Okay.
Yes.
All right, so do we have a motion to continue the public hearing on the remaining 10 notices of intent for 0 Washington Street, Panther Place? I can read these all off.
Just the lot numbers.
Okay, lot 4, lot 5, lot 13, lot 14, lot 15, lot 16, lot 17, lot 19, lot 20, and lot 21.
So moved.
Second,
All right, quick roll call vote. Jen, how do you vote?
aye.
Jess, how do you vote?
I,
George, how do you vote?
Aye.
Vice Chair votes aye also. We'll continue those all to our next meeting. All right. Jen, how are we doing on time?
We're at 03. We're about 3 minutes behind, give or take.
Okay.
3 minutes like late, not ahead.
Yeah, no, I figured that.
Okay, just,
never had.
we were for like 30 seconds.
Okay. All right, great. All right, so the next item on our agenda, open the public hearing that was continued from last time for NOI 65 Westford Road, National Grid. Corey Schultzman, Assessor's Map 6, parcel number 9.
Yes, so my name's Kellen Kontowitz from VHB, and we're representing New England Power, and Corey is also on, but I'll be doing the speaking. Is it okay if I share my screen with you guys?
It is, and Kellen, I'm sure you're aware we were supposed to have had a site walk on Tuesday, but because of the weather, we postponed that, so we will be anticipating to circle back with another site walk here shortly.
Great. No, that sounds good to me. Can everyone see that? Or see my screen and cursor?
We can, yes.
Awesome. Fantastic. So so the NOI we filed for the this is the Sandy Pond 237 substation, and the project is expansion and switch installation, and we do have a DEP number for this too. It's 100-0476. And then, as Mark mentioned, we're at 65 Westford Road in Ayer, and New England Power is proposing expansion, switch installation, and improvements to the substation. So quick description is this is part of a larger 41-acre parcel, and the substation we're looking at here is on a smaller portion of that parcel. We have industrial properties to the north and south, Westford Road to the west, and then an active right-of-way, electrical transmission right-of-way to the east. And around the fence line of the substation, you can see it's primarily maintained lawn, but also some brush and woods and wetlands, obviously. And also just to note, we are in priority and estimated habitat for rare species and wildlife. You can see by the yellow-orange cross-hatching there, kind of in the northern portion. And there's no certified vernal pools on the project site, and then we are not in any floodplain. So as far as the wetlands on site, they were delineated back in November 2018, but reflagged recently, September 2021. And on site, you can see we have wetland 1 down here near Westford Road. And it's just a small depression that receives road runoff. And then up here is wetland 2, even smaller. On site, it really looks like an old excavation pit, but obviously showed indicators of hydrology and wetland veg and soils. And then over here is wetland 3, slightly larger. It's our Palestrine scrub shrub wetland. And our wetland 3 meets the criteria for a bordering vegetated wetland, which is state and locally jurisdictional. And then both wetland 2 and wetland 1 are isolated vegetated wetlands, which are locally jurisdictional. And we also have the associated buffer zones here. So the green outline is the 100-foot, and then the red here is the 50-foot no disturb zone that's locally regulated, as you all know. And also this area around these wetlands has been previously altered, so we don't technically consider it undisturbed land. So as I mentioned, some of the work proposed is a expansion of the substation. You can see in the southwest corner here, outlined in this purplish. And in that area, we're anticipating the substation expansion, some grading, stormwater infiltration trenches, and also a new fence line extending that. Also up here near wetland 2, we're proposing a new riser pole installation, some conduit work associated with this, and also removal of the old pole right here. And also we're proposing installation of 2 poles over here associated with the 232 line. And as you see to the north of the substation, we're also proposing access road improvements. So that includes vegetation management, minor grading, and then additional fill and gravel in some locations. So we're proposing no permanent impacts to wetlands. We do have some impacts to buffer zone. I know we provide you with a table in the NOI. We can go over specifics of that if you'd like, but just overall, we're proposing 4,689 permanent impacts to the buffer zone from gravel and grading, and then 2,206 square feet of temporary impacts from mowing. And we are proposing mitigation measures. New England Power establishes best management practices in their environmental guidance documents that they provide to employees and contractors. And we're also proposing for this project an erosion and sedimentation control plan to prevent sedimentation from leaving any of the construction areas. This includes dewatering basins and also site stabilization. So with these measures, we're confident that no work will adversely impact any forms or functions of the wetlands or of the buffer zones, the 100-foot or the 50-foot no disturb zone. And regarding the priority habitat area over here, we have consulted with Natural Heritage and their endangered species program. And we actually just recently got communication from them that we were to provide them with a turtle protection measures for the project and when work's happening here, and that will result in no take of the threatened or endangered species in this area. And one other thing to note is in the NOI, we provided a stormwater management report, and it fully complies with Massachusetts stormwater standards. We'd be happy to answer more questions about that. So with that, I'm all set. Happy to answer questions from you. And I believe we also have some staff from VHB on, and also Corey from New England Power National Grid. If you guys have any technical questions that I can't answer. So happy to answer any questions you may have.
Okay, great. Thank you for that overview. Our conservation agent has lost her connection, so she will be back with us shortly. But again, I'm sure she has a few questions we'd like to review. George, any questions from you from what we've seen so far?
No, I'll wait till after the sidewalk.
Jess, any concerns right now? Jess, you're on mute.
I'm the same as George. I'll reserve any questions till after the site walk, but it looks like a very good plan.
Okay.
Same, agreed.
I guess I just have a couple questions. Kellen, the access road addition up in the northern part there, the green road you showed. Is that merely just to get to? Are they putting in switching poles up there where the replacement of those couple poles are? And is that going to be continuous use, or is that just pretty much a temporary road for the moment?
So my understanding, I was on site doing the reflagging. So much of this road is already in existence where the vegetation management is proposed.
Okay.
But there is going to be a switch on this structure next to wetland 2. So that's for just for temporary access when necessary. As far as I know, I don't anticipate like frequent use of that, but you know, the access is there if they do have to utilize that switch structure.
Okay. And right now, that green road right above wetland number 2, it's pretty much right on top of it. That's already existing.
So there is very minimal gravel in the field there and overgrown by vegetation. So we are proposing to just to cut some of that away, just so the roadway can be utilized by different line trucks and vehicles that need to get to the utility poles.
Okay. So yeah, we definitely would like to reschedule the site walk for this. Knowing that we're running short on daylight time with daylight savings ending on the 7th, 6th, 7th, whichever. Are folks okay with doing this also on the 2nd? Let's say 5 o'clock, I guess, right after the where are we going?
Right after Ted Maxon.
Harvard Road, yeah.
Yeah.
Does that sound okay?
Yep.
Fine.
Kellen, does that sound okay?
Yeah,
Yeah, that sounds good to me now. I can obviously coordinate with my team and reach back out if there'll be any issues with that.
So yeah, so right now it'd be Tuesday, November 2nd at 5 p.m. And I guess we meet you at the the entrance there right off Westford Road.
Yeah, that's perfect. I know I think Katie emailed you guys that there's a maintained lawn right after the entrance here that there should be ample parking for everyone right there.
Right, yeah, definitely. Okay. All right. Joanne, did you make it back? I don't know if you have any questions if you're out there.
I did by phone, I think. Joanne?
She's muted.
Oh, yeah. So
Here
you're
we
on my
go.
office phone? Hey,
Yeah,
Joanne.
I'm on. I don't know what happened to my computer, so I'm on the office phone here, suboptimal, but
All right.
here I am.
Joanne, we weren't sure if you had any other questions. We're going to do the site walk this coming Tuesday at 5 p.m. right after Ted's. And everybody
Yeah.
would just kind of, ask questions there, it sounded like.
Yep, that's fine with me. Did Kellen mention that we got the natural heritage letter today?
Yes, the no take, I believe it was
Yep.
Kellen, right?
Yep.
Yes,
Okay.
correct.
Good.
Are you
Okay,
going to
great.
send us a copy of that letter, Joanne? Just,
It's in the office in your packets for next time. Yeah, so it exists.
Okay, great.
Thank you.
All right, so then I guess with that, if we have no other questions, anybody on the phone at all or anything, we will see if we've got a motion to continue the public hearing. NOI for 65 Westford Road, National Grid. DEP file number 100-0476.
do November 18th.
Sorry, thank you, to November 18th, continue to November 18th.
so moved.
Second.
Is moved by George Bacon, seconded by Jenna Maya. Do a quick roll call. Jen, how do you vote?
Aye.
Jess, how do you vote?
Aye.
George, how do you vote?
Aye,
Vice Chair votes aye. Kellen and company, we'll see you Tuesday at 5.
Great. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Take care.
All right. With that, we'll move on to our next item, which is a public meeting on Stratton Hill Open Space Residential Development, OSRD, conservation analysis. David Moulton, Fox Meadow Realty Corp., Assessor's Map 17 parcels 1 through 3, 7, 8, 11 through 55. And I guess as we head into this, I'm assuming there's a number of folks on here from the public that are interested in hearing about this. I just want to reiterate to folks that, tonight there will be no decisions really being made per se with regards to, yay or nay. That is actually under the purview of the planning board. The Concom is merely here to hear information and provide recommendations based on the conservation analysis. And for those that may have been at the town meeting on Monday, we don't have quite the time that the moderator identified there, but if you do wish to speak and comment on this, I think we'll have to cut ours as our timekeeper will try to keep us insane here, or keep us sane. I'd like to make sure that folks, if you do have comments, if we keep them to under a minute, we would very much appreciate that. And so with that, I guess, gentlemen, what do you have for us?
Mark, I apologize for interrupting, gentlemen. I just wanted to set the expectation for about 30 minutes total for this.
Okay, thank you, Jen. All right, so 8:17, so about 30 minutes. Thank you.
And let's just identify who's here for the applicant.
Oh,
That was going to be the next words out of my mouth. So I'm Bob Collins. I'm the attorney for Fox Meadow Realty Corp. Stan Dillis, the engineer for this site of Dillis and Roy, is sitting next to me. We were before the commission some time ago and discussed this plan, and we have since met with the planning board and with the Public Works Department. The plan has been revised since the last time we were discussing this with the commission. So the area beyond the power lines, those of you that remember this site, the development area is bisected by the New England Power easement. Interestingly, it is the easement that the gentleman just before us was identifying on his plan. Previously, the plan that we had initially submitted had 23 lots on that side, on the interior side of the power line easement. We've reduced that down to 16, forgive me, with the bulk of the lots now being closer to Wright Road. We have still preserved all of the shoreline of Long Pond. So the roadway that will serve this site, the entire right-hand side of it, as one enters the site, will actually all be public land, which is part of the now 160 acres that will be permanently protected public land gifted in fee. Last time we were before you, it was 142 acres. Now,
let me just interrupt you there, if you don't mind. We're really here we just want to focus on the conservation analysis.
That's right, and that's what I was going to just get to. So we had,
thank you.
Seth Donahoe had prepared a conservation analysis that we had discussed with the commission last time, and there was a request that it be augmented in several respects. I believe there were 17 points that Joanne had shared with Seth. And I believe the analysis that's in front of the commission at this point has addressed those 17 points. I want to alert the commission to the fact that we have a hearing with the planning board, and this is also for the abutters that are attending, scheduled for, I believe, December 7th. At that point, I think there'll be a lot of meaningful discussions about the plan itself. But I do hope that we've been able to address some of the issues that the commission had requiring additional information last time. And we're here to answer any questions that you might have.
Okay, thank you for that. I guess I'll ask the commission members, any questions that you folks have?
One for me was, I think we last met back in July, was it the 26th or something like that?
I believe you're correct.
Yep. I had raised at that point a question about the conservation analysis page showing the high, medium, and low priority designation. And, that I was hoping that that would be more fleshed out in this revised, but I don't see any changes at all on that. Guess that's, it all is still the same. And my concern is what you have labeled low priority is that slope to the right, south of the power lines that goes down to the non-agricultural soils of Long Ponds, that sort of marshy area. And while the work proposed is outside of our jurisdiction, I have concerns about any tree clearing on that rather steep slope down to Long Pond. So I was just a little disappointed that there wasn't any more detail added to that section.
Well, if I could say, I think, and of course, these things are rather subjective, but I believe why Seth identified the low priority area, that's the area that was roughed in. The commission will recall there is a subdivision that's of record with 35 lots that occupies a much larger area than what's on the table now. The roadway was actually cut in, as you know, you did a site walk, and there was clearing done, so it was disturbed land, and I believe that's why he identified it as low priority. Correct.
Okay, I'm talking, it's hard to tell because we haven't actually seen the revised plan of the layout yet, have we? I haven't seen it.
No, and we don't want to see it, really. That's part of our process, is just to deal with the ecological value of the site without
Well, I mean,
That was not a pre-described look at how the site is to be developed, correct?
right. So I just to clarify, I just don't want to see tree clearing on that slope where there haven't been trees cleared, at least, so.
That's fine, and the intention would be not to do anything there. There will be some drainage there, and there's some existing drainage that's already there that will be, we're utilizing that rather than creating new drainage areas.
But actually, it seems to me that slope that Jess is identifying is actually all going to be public land.
Correct.
So that won't be developed lots. That will be part of what's being gifted.
Okay.
Right, because that was identified by Natural Heritage under Fish and Wildlife as being of extremely high ecological value, those first 4 lots on the far right hand side.
That's why there's no lots there now.
That's why we've eliminated any lots on that side of the road, so up all the way up to the power lines.
Right, so I think to Jess's point, to have the high, low, and medium conservation value portions of this project represent what we know to be a really high ecological value portion of the project being represented as low ecological value in my mind, not as a member of the commission, but as their agent, really calls into question.
Validity of the actual report.
Yes, thank you, Mark.
Well, and again, I think the only reason why he identified it that way, and I have absolutely no problem with asking him to amend it to reflect that everything to the right of the road be identified as high priority. But again, the reason why he did it is because that was all disturbed land within the last 15 years.
And I don't disagree. We can certainly modify that to show that area as high priority.
But
I mean,
I guess we're losing the reasoning behind the conservation analysis. It's not just to merely amend based on what our feelings are. It's really to have it done properly based on the ecological values of the property and not being predisposed based on the layout of the subdivision and such. And it's really supposed to be just looking at the property in totality, taking into account all the various parcels, all the various identified habitats, and again, being totally removed from what we anticipate to, or what you folks anticipate to develop. And I think that's kind of the big thing that really similar to Jess, kind of have a problem with. It doesn't seem like the lot has, or I should say the whole property has really been properly analyzed, I guess. I don't know how else to say it, I'm sorry.
Right, and Mark, I would offer that the rich ecological value of this property isn't represented in this analysis that we've received at all. And I strongly recommend that the Conservation Commission peer review a conservation analysis on this. I've spoken informally with the town planner, and he indicated to me that it's likely the planning board would be willing to go together with the commission as we did on John Carroll Reserve in a joint peer review, so that we can get our needs met and planning board can get their needs met by the same firm at the same time, so that it doesn't drag things out for the applicant. But I really don't think the commission can make any conservation recommendation based on this conservation analysis.
If I could disagree, and I hate to disagree with you, Joanne, but again, I do believe he has identified that much of the site needs to be protected, and that is actually what is driving the design, is to protect what needs to be protected, which again was Mr. Moulton's intent when he purchased this property 22 years ago. We have no problem with the peer review, but again, he wishes to gift the bulk of this site. I know in a perfect world, one would be protecting all of the site. But as I've said on a couple of occasions, the limited development on either side of this very important 650 acres is what has paid for protecting the 600 acres in the middle that really needed to be protected, which includes all of the shoreline on Long Pond. So this is, I believe, a pretty good analysis of property that's going to be put into protection. I do believe that he accurately portrays the land that was disturbed as part of the 35 lot subdivision that's of record. But again, we have no problem with a peer review, no problem at all. I'm hoping you can accomplish that by the time the hearing process starts in December. That would be the one concern I would have.
Although on that, if the planning board, if the town planner wants to coordinate a peer review with conservation and their needs, that probably would not be resolved until they start meeting in December.
Right. Yeah, I was gonna say the same thing, so.
Which, and that's fine. It can be an ongoing thing. I know this is going to take some time with the planning board. There's a lot to go through on the site.
I guess, Jess, did you have any other questions? I wanted to see if Jen and George had questions.
Yeah, I just had one more. Back when we talked in July, Mr. Collins, you'd mentioned the need to revise the conservation and management permit.
Yes.
Yes, has that been done or?
Well, no, because we actually wanted to have a second meeting with you guys. We revised the plan since the July meeting, as I indicated. We wanted to have a second meeting with you guys before we actually went forward with that. We did have a meeting with the review biologist back in early September, it seems to me. So she's anticipating it, but I was waiting until this evening's meeting ended before I actually put in the formal request.
Okay, and so
We
I
did
think,
go over it with her though.
okay, and because I'd like to see Natural Heritage's response in writing, including did they address whether the original permit is still valid?
Well, it is, yes, and that hurdle we've already passed with them, and they are just waiting for us to amend the permit to reflect this new design. So I can certainly submit that, and you'll have a decision from them fairly quickly and get you something in writing from the review biologist.
George, did you have any questions?
No, not at this time.
Okay. Jen, how about yourself?
Not at this time, thanks.
Okay. So I know we do have, again, quite a few folks that I believe might have some information that's germane to this in the public. And again, I will just remind folks, we have approximately 10 minutes left here. So for those that might want to speak, can you identify yourself? So I see Al Futterman.
Yes, as consultant to the town of Ayer on its most recent open space and recreation plan update, I am familiar with each of the town's open space and recreational lands and with all the town's conservation and still undeveloped lands. While it is not easy to compare properties in my estimation, the subject property is a singularly important property in the town of Ayer. This is true from both an open space, environmental, natural resource perspective and from a recreational potential perspective. Additionally, I have some chronological sense of this specific proposed development. Having served as the land programs director at the National River Watershed Association for the past 22 years, I've witnessed various iterations of this project pass before me, including when the abutting Rocky Hill Wildlife Sanctuary property was created. In fact, in 2002, the state funded a natural community and wildlife habitat inventory of Snake Hill and Ayer, Mass, conducted by Mass Audubon's Ecological Extension Service. Among other findings, the Extension Service reported that, quote, in its isolation from human disturbance, the subject area serves as habitat for interior forest nesting birds and large mammals which require large, relatively undisturbed natural areas for habitat, unquote. These large mammals include bear and moose. This property could be considered a poster child of core habitat. Ayer is lucky to possess an undisturbed area of this diversity and significant size and would be imprudent to allow it to be developed in the manner proposed. This threatened wild land will be lost to suburban sprawl. Whether it is called a refuge or not, this property most surely is a refuge. I know others tonight will be talking about many other issues. I'll take my remaining time to speak to rare species, The most challenging species to protect will be the Blandings turtle, which is listed as a species of greatest concern and need in all 5 Northeast states where it occurs. These turtle populations are especially vulnerable because of their low fecundity and low recruitment, and even a small loss of adults can lead to population declines. Adult survivorship, especially females, is arguably one of the most important factors contributing to population persistence. The largest threats are roads. Road mortality can send the turtle population into decline even when all off-road habitats are protected, and habitat loss. The revised conservation analysis, Appendix A, rare herpetofaunal investigation, clearly indicates significant Blandings nesting on power lines. Having a subdivision road bisect the power line on this site will undoubtedly result in an NHESP taking. The creation of roads and areas of fine crushed gravel may attract nesting females, increasing the risk of turtle and nest mortality and predation. Turtles may be directly killed by equipment or vehicles, and habitat may be destroyed by blasting. Nearly a quarter of the site has areas of 20-degree plus steepness. Wetlands may become degraded from water discharge, changes in surface or groundwater flow, and chemical or sediment contamination. Finally, the deed recorded 2005 Mass Wildlife Conservation Management Permit number 005-042, bullet 19 states that prior to May 2006, 2 turtle nesting areas were to be created. To my knowledge, these were never constructed. In sum, as others may have already noted, there are 5 potential vernal pools on this site, all within the state certified vernal core area number 167. 100% of this site is within the Petapawag area of critical environmental concern. 100% is within natural heritage endangered species biomap 2 forest core. 100% is within natural heritage core and priority habitats, and the site is 100% within a state designated environmental justice community. Thank you for this opportunity to speak.
Thank you, Al.
Could I ask one question there? Is that all right, Mark?
Yes, go ahead, Jen. Jess.
Reading this, one, it just seemed in the Oxbow prepared wildlife evaluation, were all those studies of the Blandings turtle, do they all date to 2003, 2004? Or
Yes.
Okay, so that
And
would
it
be
included the site.
right. Okay, so that's.
I don't think it did include this site.
No, it actually did, Joanne. It did. I checked after you and I spoke.
Okay, that given Mr. Futterman's comments, that having data that old for this area is questionable to me.
That hasn't been brought up by Natural Heritage, and again, we had a conversation with them a month ago.
Well, I'd like to see their responses
Yep.
in writing again.
I'll definitely get that for you.
And what's the name of the biologist you're dealing with there?
Lauren Glorioso and Jesse Letter.
Okay.
You have that, Jess?
Yep.
Scott Wilson, I see your hand is raised. Would you like to speak?
Yeah, can you guys hear me?
Yes, we can.
Perfect. I'm Scott Wilson, the current founder of Nashua River Birding Community. And I have done a couple of walks up in this area, one for the Christmas bird count and some just on my own accord. And some of the findings I've found have been pretty outstanding. This is the only area in Ayer, Massachusetts, and actually one of the only areas around here where you can observe all 4 different types of owls. Most importantly, the saw-whet owl. The areas along the dirt road are perfect habitat for them with the super shallow pines that exist there. Going from there, it's the only spot in town that I have observed fish crow, one of 3 spots that I've observed northern water thrush, and one of 2 spots where I've observed Virginia rail. And with the limited amount of space and area that we have in town, definitely got to preserve these areas so these birds can continue to breed and survive in the area. There's also a lot of other passerines that are currently being threatened from migration due to our impacts that we're providing to this world. And some of those birds would be like North-breasted grosbeak, yellow-throated vireo, and we definitely need to take care of these areas. So those are my findings. Sorry. And in total, I've observed 47 different species that exist in this just around the dirt path. I haven't gone out beyond that. So thank you.
All right, thank you. Annie Reed, I know you sent us a letter or a copy of the letter, I believe, that you had sent off to the planning board, which I believe most of us in the commission have read, if not all of us. If you'd briefly like to make a quick statement, go ahead if you'd like.
I had a couple of questions that I asked in that letter that I can just quickly read off again to everyone. One is stormwater runoff. Retention ponds are created to provide effective storage for storm surge runoff so that the water can percolate down to the water table rather than flowing off the site. Unfortunately, retention ponds built into solid rock do not percolate, as they are effectively giant bathtubs with no drain. The 2008 road project test case provides a clear demonstration of this. I understand from neighbors that the result of the prior development for the loop road has greatly increased runoff at the base of Standish Avenue and Wachusett Avenue. There are standing puddles at the base of Standish Avenue after every rainstorm, and they're only about 50 feet from Sandy Pond. The stagnant water remains for days or weeks, and some of that runoff water likely ends up in the pond. I understand that the retention pond at the base of the dirt road where it connects with Wright Road was installed after there was so much runoff that neighbors had to install sandbags at the perimeter of their properties. Some of these still remain at the edge of Wright Road across from the dirt loop. The retention pond is often filled with stagnant brown water that is a breeding ground for mosquitoes and often remains for weeks. If this comparatively small project created such an unhealthy situation, I shudder to think what the proposed mature woodland removal, added hardscape, 35 new homes, and 4 new retention ponds would do. I take it as a given that runoff into Long Pond or Sandy Pond is not acceptable, nor is the creation of stagnant man-made ponds, which would require treatment with pesticides so as to not threaten our children and aging parents with disease-carrying mosquitoes. My question is, can a third-party civil water flow professional engineer be retained to fully analyze storm surge runoff issues and propose solutions that would impact neighborhood sites, surrounding ponds, wetlands, and aquifers? I have another question about conservation open space. The proposal under review would add 25-acre development into the middle of 200 acres of pristine forest, ponds, and wetlands, which is adjacent to over 440 acres of Mass Audubon land in neighboring Groton. Together, these represent one of the last undisturbed and undeveloped large tracts of pristine wildlife habitat in central eastern Massachusetts. The Stratton Hill parcel supports moose, black bear, beavers, porcupines, and nearly 100 species of birds, including bald eagles. The scale of the project raises a host of concerns. Irreversible damage to a habitat which lies within a state-designated area of critical environmental concern. These concerns include the impact to bird and wildlife habitat during and after construction due to the severing of this critical wildlife corridor, the impact to water bodies in Groton, Audubon Conservation Land, as well as Long Pond and Sandy Pond, and the Beaver Pond directly north of the Loop Road. Runoff effects on wetlands and adjacent waterways, and negative impacts of blasting. Residents had to endure blasting that went on for weeks just to build the 2008 road. Pets as far away as Sandy Pond were traumatized and kept inside basements to control anxiety. If domestic animals were traumatized, it seems reasonable to expect that native wildlife would be even more affected by near constant explosions and vibrations, possibly driving them out of the area and or distorting their reproduction cycle. Prior to approval, these concerns should be reliably addressed by experts and approved by the state. My question is, can the developer be required to produce a formal DEP environmental impact report? And I have one final thing, and then I will pass the baton. In the letter to addressing the 17 points that was submitted by Dillis and Roy, I just wanted to circle in on point number 10, which is asking for wildlife habitat, whether in fields, wetlands, or woodlands. Predominant species of birds, mammals, amphibians, reptiles, and fish shall all be identified when possible. The presence of rare or endangered species shall be noted, along with the boundaries of natural areas of critical species habitat sites. I have not had a chance to read the conservation analysis, but here the response by the applicant is that it is likely the site supports white-tailed deer, chipmunk, squirrels, raccoon, fox, muskrat, and American beaver. Except for beavers, little evidence of mammalian wildlife was observed during site visits. This is due in part to cart roads being utilized by motor vehicles and nearby residents walking dogs. I just want to say that my neighbors and I have all seen black bear, porcupines, woodpeckers, owls, hawks, bald eagles, and many other species of birds and reptiles, both up in Stratton Hill parcel and coming down or flying over the dirt loop road into our neighborhood. According to Mass Audubon website, the directly adjacent 440-acre Rocky Hill Wildlife Sanctuary contains moose habitat. I would like to note that according to wildlife experts, moose have long-term affinity to their chosen home range and indeed may use the same wintering and summer ranges for their entire lives. I know I am stating the obvious, but wildlife does not know anything about property lines. What will be the effect on native animals of a 35-unit housing subdivision being introduced into what is currently a 650-acre wild area unspoiled by development? So in closing, I would just like to say that I don't think the conservation analysis has really captured all the wildlife that is up there from the couple of site walks that they've done. If my neighbors and I have been able to observe all of this in the last few years that I've been there. Thank you.
Thank you, Annie.
Could I just say something, Mark?
Sure, sure.
I feel compelled to indicate that Mr. Moulton gifted that 440 acres to Mass Audubon. That sanctuary would not exist without the owner of this property. This limited development on this side and the limited development on the Groton side is what enabled the Audubon Wildlife Sanctuary to exist. He purchased it in order to save the entire swath from development. And I would hope people would be mindful that the gentleman that is putting forward this plan created that sanctuary. That would not exist were it not for Dave Moulton. The other issue that I did want to just address very quickly, the stormwater will be thoroughly reviewed by the planning board, and they have a peer review engineer that will review that. I do believe that we would have to come back for an order of conditions as well.
Correct.
So the commission will actually have a chance to review that particular issue, but the viability of the stormwater management system is part of the planning board process.
Okay, thank you.
Mark, can I just respond to Mr. Collins? There's no doubt in my mind that Dave Moulton is a generous and conservation-minded person. However, whoever owned this whole entire parcel of land would be subject to the conservation and management permit that is attached to this land by the state, requiring the owner to set aside in permanent protection the vast majority of the land. So it's a requirement of the conservation and management permit that's actually resulting in the protection in perpetuity of all of this land. And I just want to be sure everybody's clear about that.
If I could just say one last thing, and I'll be real quick, Mark, because I know you're running over. But again, I'm aware of that. I was involved in that process. That conservation management permit emanated from the two limited developments that we had on the table. So I'm definitely aware of that, but that actually came as part of the whole process, the planning process that involved the Ayer and Groton components of the site.
All right, thank you. I know we definitely have run over a little bit on this. Is there anybody else from the public that would like to briefly speak to any specific items?
And we've been given a little bit more time, Mark, so we can take comments.
Okay, thanks, Jen.
One question until somebody comments. What is our best procedure for trying to coordinate with the planning board moving forward on a peer review that attends to some of the planning board needs as well as our need to review the conservation analysis? The moment it seems we have to wait till December 7th to meet, to talk to the planning board about that.
I'll talk to the town planner early next week, and I will get the answer to that question.
For the peer review, does that require a vote by us for the conservation aspect of it, while the planning board then has to vote on their end for the planning side peer review? Is that how that would proceed?
I would think that would be a time-saving measure if the commission were to go ahead and vote to peer review the conservation analysis in coordination with the planning board. George, what do you think?
Yeah, I think that would save time if you let the planning board take the lead and just include our needs.
Okay.
And we would then want to review the request for proposal that's issued to make sure that.
Yeah, well,
Yeah,
and we
the RFP would have to be coordinated by both Joanne and Mark, and then reviewed by both us and the planning board.
yeah, right. And we've got a good template for that in another OSRD that we jointly peer reviewed. So we're not starting from scratch here.
Right, yeah, dust that off and go through it, changes some names and things like that.
Yep.
Lots and things like that. So, okay.
Mark, the other thing I would suggest is that if anybody who is on the call who doesn't want to speak tonight but has something they'd like to share with the commission, they can always submit it in writing to the commission office.
Yes, very good point. Sometimes being on the, live on the call and stuff like that, or in the Zoom meeting can be a little intimidating. So if there is folks that would like to comment, and provide some input, they can definitely send it to Joanne or, Conservation Commission office inbox that's available on the town website. Right. So with that,
Oh, one more question, Mark.
Sure.
I know when we met in July, we were going to discuss setting up a site walk when we next met in August, but then this has been continued until now. Do we want to do a site walk now, or would we want to do one perhaps accompanying a third-party reviewer?
Wasn't there a site walk done for the ORAD?
No.
No?
Not by the commission.
Not by
and-
the, okay, it was by the consultant. Okay.
Right.
Oh, then you should definitely schedule a site walk
Yeah, I think that would be a good idea.
yeah.
or snow.
But Jess, are you saying do the site walk once we have the peer review? Is that what you're indicating?
Or maybe even accompany the peer reviewer out there. I mean, I know this is where things get a little bit confusing with this whole process, but I know I would like to do a site walk also with an idea of where the proposed development would go, to be able to comment on that.
And I would think it would be a wise thing to do that sooner rather than later, given the time of year, rather than wait for you guys to hire a peer review. By that point, we could have snow. If you wanted to schedule a site walk, we're very happy to have you do that now.
And that I would imagine should be on a Saturday.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's gonna have to be a Saturday one because
Yep.
I won't be able to make this Saturday, and
This Saturday is going to be very rainy.
yeah, even into Sunday, and I believe, well, we could potentially say next Saturday, I suppose.
November 6th.
Correct.
And that would be fine.
I know I have not ever been up into the site at all.
Neither am I. Should be good.
Oh, it's a definite worthwhile site to walk, believe me. So that would be our pleasure to
Is
have
that
you guys see it.
5-hour site walk?
Yeah.
It's big.
It'll be like Gilligan's Island. We might never come back. But that was a 3-hour cruise, right? Sorry. Okay, so we're proposing a site walk for November 6th. Shall we say 7:30, 8 o'clock,
Would say 8 o'clock at the earliest.
8 a.m.? Don't want to disturb the people on Wright Road with all these vehicles.
It's actually very dusky now, around 7:30 even.
Yeah.
I
That's
just
fair.
as soon give a little time for the coyotes to go into retreat.
We need time for the homeless people to evacuate the area too, because there's a lot of activity up there that probably shouldn't be happening up there.
Goodness, I didn't see those mammals being identified in the conservation. Okay, all right, so we'll say 8 a.m. and obviously based on the weather forecast that we have a few days prior to that, we will either confirm or reschedule.
Excuse me, Mark.
That would be wonderful.
I'm sorry.
Excuse me, Mark.
Oh, Jeff, yes?
I'm sorry to jump in like this, but I didn't want to miss the opportunity. If at all possible, we could coordinate that with the planning board, given that the winter is coming. I think that would be nice. If you could join the site walk.
Yeah, that would be a great idea, I think.
And I apologize, everybody, if I don't have my typical tie on. I wasn't expecting to speak this evening, but
I'm shocked.
it's doing yard work today. But I'll click off. But if it's possible, I'd like to have the planning board join. if they can. And the other question I have is, can we check and make sure it's not hunting season?
Oh, it is definitely
It's
hunting.
definitely hunting
Yeah.
season.
So
Where
we
are you
might,
at?
s-
But shotgun
your orange.
season doesn't start until right after Thanksgiving.
yeah,
At this
okay,
point,
we'll double
no
check. It's either orange on the head or orange on your body, depending on what's in season, but thank you.
It's bow hunting season right now, so it's
Yeah.
definitely orange on your body.
Yeah, exactly. Okay, well, thank
Put
you
orange
all
everywhere.
and good night. Thank you, Mark.
Okay, thanks, Jeff. And you'll coordinate with let the rest of the planning board know?
Oh, you're muted.
I'll let them know informally, and Joanne and Mark can put it together when Mark returns. He's away for a couple days.
Yep.
I think he's down birding on the Cape.
That sound okay, Joanne?
Perfect.
Thanks, guys.
All right. No, thank you, Jeff. Good idea.
Mark, we have someone with their hand up, Laura.
Oh, I'm sorry. Just saw that. Yeah, Laura, go ahead.
Hello, Laura Stara, resident of Wachusett Avenue East. I just want everybody to be aware, if you're going to walk that site, that a few weeks ago, there was some vandalism and there's a lot of broken glass on that loop road. There's been a grassroots effort to start cleaning it up, but there's a lot of broken glass on the road. So just be aware of that.
Let me go on the record to say that a lot of our species stinks. Not everybody.
Yes.
Too many of us.
All right. But yeah, thank you for that cautionary, and we'll be sure to take that into account. Anybody else before we take a vote on continuing the public hearing? Oh, I'm sorry. Sorry, this is a public meeting. I was reading the wrong one. You don't have to continue. Right? Right.
But did we take a vote on,
oh, yeah,
the peer review? That would be a good thing to do.
Yes, we can do that. I was waiting for last comment, but it does seem like we're all good on that. So yeah, we have a motion to request a peer review in coordination, a peer review for the conservation analysis in coordination with the anticipated peer review from the planning board for Stratton Hill development.
So moved.
Seconded.
Okay, we'll take a quick roll call. It was moved by George Bacon, seconded by Jenna Maya. Jen, how do you vote?
Aye.
Jess, how do you vote?
Aye.
And George, how do you vote?
Aye.
Vice Chair votes aye. All right, thank you, gentlemen. Appreciate your
Thank you.
time.
Thank you.
And we'll continue
See you
progressing.
on the 6th.
See you on the 6th. Yes, definitely.
Gee, should you do a rain day just in case, given the way the weather has been? Should we say the 6th unless the weather is horrific and then it's the 7th?
The 7th would be Sunday. I prefer to not do Sunday at all, honestly.
Yeah, so maybe the 6th or the 13th if the 6th is pouring rain.
Is the rest of the commission okay with that?
Yeah.
Yep, that's fine.
Okay.
I'd have to step out for a little bit because of another site walk for the zoning board that morning on the 13th, but I'm very familiar with the area, so I could find you all again.
If it went to the 13th, Jess, if we started at 9, would that be accommodating maybe?
That's when the site walk for the zoning board is at 9 a.m. But
Oh, okay.
but possibly 9:30. But let's hope it's clear weather on the 6th.
Okay, all right. We can alternate for the 13th and time to be TBD then. How's that?
Well, thank you so much.
Thank you, folks. Appreciate it. All right. So Jenna, I know we're a little over on time. I believe we maybe just have the one last thing for Bishop Road. Joanne, should we do that? Can we do that?
We need to do that, and we've got a couple of emergency certs to certify and some quick office updates.
Okay, all right, so the next item then on the agenda was the public meeting for the request for certificate of compliance at 1 Bishop Road, the COC, UCC, LCC, a lot of Cs.
AB,
Assessors map 19 parcel, sorry, I wrote right over, is that 199? Parcel
Yeah.
199. Thank you.
Joanne, what's the order of conditions number on this one?
0449.
Thomas, I think you're here to represent for Bishop Road.
Yes, Thomas Christopher, here representing Mr. Obregon and UCC, LCC.
Oh, yeah,
So-
UCC, Ultimate Car, okay,
Good evening, Commissioners. Nice to see you again. At the time that you issued an order of conditions, one of the commission orders was to plant a row of sweet fern and make sure that the banking was stabilized with bark mulch. We accomplished that back in late July, and I sent a letter to Ms. Christoph, I think in early September. I believe she's been out to see the site, and I also submitted a photograph that I took just prior to her getting out there. So right now, the area is stable. There is heavy vegetation right to the base of the bank. And I think that fulfills everything that the commission has requested of Mr. Obregon. If there's anything else you would need or would like, we would be happy to comply.
Joanne, you've gone out and taken a look at this already?
Yeah, it looks fabulous. Just,
Okay.
yep.
Jen, I'm sorry, do you have a question?
No, it's just it said that's great that Joanne saw.
Okay. George or Jess, any questions?
Nope.
No.
Great. It sounds like we're all in order, Thomas. Thank you. Appreciate it. George, do we vote on the certificate of compliance?
Yes.
Yes. Okay. All right. So then, I guess, do we have a motion to issue the certificate of compliance for 1 Bishop Road, COC, UCC, LC?
The COC is not supposed to be there, just UCC, LCC.
All right. So motion to issue a certificate of compliance for 1 Bishop Road, UCC, LLC.
So moved.
Second,
Moved by George Bacon, seconded by Jenna Maya. We'll take a quick roll call vote. Jen, how do you vote?
aye.
Jess, how do you vote?
I,
George, how do you vote?
Aye.
Vice Chair votes aye. Approved unanimously. Thank you, Thomas.
Thank the commission very much. Appreciate your forbearance.
Thank you. And Joanne, you can put that together and they can pick it up tomorrow, I guess?
I will,
Monday?
I'll have it ready on Monday. Tom, do you want me to just drop it in the mail to Carlos? Certified?
Actually,
Send
I'll
it
have to do the recording for Carlos. So if you'll drop it in the mail to me, as you know, it's a little difficult for me to get out. And
Yes.
I can get that certified or registered up at the Middlesex Registry by mail.
Okay,
And we'll get copies back to you folks.
very good. Best wishes to you and your wife both.
Thank you very much. Appreciate your consideration. Good
Thank
evening,
you.
commissioners.
good night.
Good evening.
I,
All right, so with that, last item that I see here before the updates is quick discussion on the draft ad for the temporary part-time assistant for conservation administrator. And Joanne, sounds like maybe nothing.
I did see Robert Pomprian yesterday when I was making a request about Beaver Dam clearance. And he swore that he would be getting back to us next week. They've been working on it.
Okay. All right, yes. Well, if he's able to get back to us next week, we hopefully maybe can act on it next week and get it posted. And
Yeah.
did he give us, did he give you that sort of indication?
He gave an indication of trying to set up a meeting next week.
Right, so it sounds like we might be a little ways off yet.
Yeah,
Losing hope that we're going to have interest from somebody trying to do an internship.
Spring.
Considering this semester is probably almost over, right? Or spring.
Spring.
Okay.
if we live that long. Ah,
Okay. Conservation office updates. Joanne, what do you have for us?
Office updates, I have 2 emergency certification forms for you all to remotely ratify, I guess is how we do this now. One for a little beaver dam reduction and the trapping effort at Long Pond Dam. And the other one for the dam behind 41 Groton Harvard Road, which is the dam that kind of faces Oak Ridge Drive. There's beaver debris on the top of that dam that with the heavy rain we've had is causing the water to run around the ends of the dam. We had a very angry phone call from the homeowner at 41 Groton Harvard Road. So some phone calls to Fish and Wildlife and Mike Callahan, our consultant, and looking in the MACC handbook, and Jess talking to Robert. The DPW is going to clear the debris off the top of that dam.
They did that this morning.
Okay. So we still have to issue an emergency cert for that, since all that material is probably now just sitting down below the dam in the actual stream. So I guess if you would vote to issue an emergency cert for 41 Groton Harvard Road and one for the Long Pond Dam, then I can send these off to DEP.
Okay, we just go straight to a vote, or we need to make a motion on it first?
You need a motion.
Okay, so we have a motion to issue an emergency certification for removal of dam debris on in and around 41 Groton Harvard Road.
So moved.
Second.
Moved by George Bacon, seconded by Jenna Maya. Do a quick roll call vote. Jen, how do you vote?
Aye.
Jess, how do you vote?
Aye.
George, how do you vote?
Aye.
Vice Chair votes aye. We're all set on that one, Joanne. And then
Yep.
the next one was for Long Pond. I got to get the details on that one again.
The Long Pond Dam, a little bit of beaver dam removal to relieve some of the water impounded above that dam. We've got a permit from the Board of Health for that beaver dam work, as well as for the trapping of the beavers in Long Pond. So this is the emergency cert that goes along with that permit.
And that water was backing up again on the easement road before we got this nearly 3 inches of rain. So the beavers have been added again. For clarification, Joanne, you said that the dam can no longer be touched to release some of that impounded water until the trapping is done.
That's right. And so the day after the dam was opened a little bit, I went out there and the beavers had all but closed it up again. So there we have it. We have a beaver problem, people. Or we have a people problem, and the beavers are fine. It's the people who are the I don't know. We've got We've got to sit down with DPW and get this squared away because I can't tell you how much time I spent this week chasing beaver stuff. It's really important to do it right, but this is out of control. And we need a plan, and we need to implement the plan.
Yeah, because the trapping obviously is not going to happen that quickly. And we've got 2.5 more inches coming Friday, Saturday night here.
Yeah, so if the trapping started, let's see, we finally got the permit from the Board of Health on Tuesday morning. And I was able to, or maybe was it Monday late? I don't know. There was a chance that the trapping was going to start Tuesday. And it takes 7 to 10 days. So,
So
and
at
then,
this moment, Mike may have a couple trapped by now.
yeah, and actually Mike's not doing the trapping. He subcontracts it out, in this case to Wachusett Wildlife Control.
Okay.
And Mike has promised us that as soon as the trapping is completed, he and his helpers will get up here and gradually dismantle the dam and get a functioning beaver deceiver back in.
All right.
You know, it took us a long time to get the permit, and you know, I think we've got another problem brewing on Shaker Mill Pond. The agent in Harvard called me because she's getting calls from people concerned that Bennett's Brook above our beaver deceiver is filling up with water. I talked, I think I sent you the email exchange with Dan Aho asking him to remove the beaver debris on the top of his dam, and his response was that the beavers aren't bothering him. But I think Shaker Mill Pond is going to fill up to the point where our beaver deceiver is not functional.
Yeah. When you say above at Shaker Mill Pond, wouldn't that, whatever you say above, wouldn't that not be into Harvard's property then?
Well, I know, except if the blockage is in Ayer, you know, most of these beaver things are just within our town borders. Here's one that's on the boundary, and you know, I'm very good at getting contractors to do things for us, but I'm not really able to assess the watershed hydrological dynamics of the Shaker Mill Pond situation. And I don't think it's reasonable for the commission to have to try to sort this out. This is not what we do.
Well, this is what we, you know, when we start to have a little more time, if ever, to sit down and coordinate again with Director Dan Van Schalkwyk of the DPW about, you know, coordinating responses. I know Mr. Aho said what the beavers weren't bothering him, but he had no objection to anybody else doing something there, and that would be a question for also the town manager about to what extent the town wants to get involved with doing anything on private property that may extend beyond that private property to affect our road.
Yeah, well, and yeah, it's getting very complicated, and as I said to Jess today, I think maybe this is abnormal weather we've been having, or maybe this is now normal weather and what we used to have will become abnormal, but we don't have any way of predicting it anymore. We just, so we do need to sit down with Dan at DPW. It's possible to have a a blanket NOI for town kind of projects that would possibly include some of these things. We determined with Fish and Wildlife that they are not going to comment on clearing debris off the top of human-made dams.
Yeah.
Yeah,
That's something we do have to streamline, because clearing culverts and man-made dams is in everybody's interest and to speed that up. So if we, again, when we have time, try to facilitate a annual permit with the DPW, that would probably be good.
Right, because right now, we're just in firefighting mode. And, you know, with meeting agendas like this and having to take on two and a half major beaver projects in the last 2 weeks.
George, do you remember if there used to be restrictions that there's something that allowed DPWs to clear man-made structures without any certifications or permits?
I don't recall.
Okay. So probably doing the annual order or something like that for DPW would be a good way to go.
Yeah, for the tops of dams and for the inside of culverts. And when talking to Mike Callahan about this yesterday, he said that 90% of towns in Massachusetts consider the clearing of culverts as of beaver debris as a maintenance activity. And we are not the only ones who wonder about what goes on top of man-made dams, because beavers just hear water and start piling sticks. It doesn't matter if it's a dam with water coming over the top of it or just a stream in the woods. They're not that particular. But Fish and Wildlife said that they're not going to comment on clearing stuff off the top of dams. So
it's good.
It is good. I think it probably still involves an emergency cert, maybe, unless the DPW
You have
is
to try to move on from that with the annual permit.
well, but if they're dumping stuff, if the DPW is going to remove the dam and bring it to the transfer station, I think that's one thing. If they're just going to deposit it at the bottom of, say, the Groton Harvard Road Dam,
Yeah, and leave it there stacked up nicely for the beavers to pick up and redo.
there's that.
I haven't checked on the Groton Harvard Road, the one that carries the stream between Pine Meadow Pond and Flanagan Pond. I didn't check to see what the DPW did this morning. I was there yesterday.
Mhm.
I don't know, Mr. Tillotson, if you're still on, you live near there. Did you observe whether the DPW removed debris that was below that dam?
I was hiding.
I know. I could see you there though.
Yeah, I know. So, yes, the DPW did come in and do it. So I
Did
think
did they remove the piles of branches?
no, the piles are still there. And if my memory serves correctly, they remove the piles off to the sides as far as they can. Jess, if you recall looking at the dam from the roadway, the pile on the left is something that I think the landowner there had been pulling away over time because they hadn't been doing any work over there. Okay. And when they get to the point where they have enough to fill a truck, they then fill the truck and take it away. But what they were doing, and I don't want to get anybody in trouble, but that dam needs to be attended to probably every 3 weeks, 4 weeks. As Joanne is saying, the beavers are very active over here. So what they do is they pile it away and then take it away all at once. So some days it's there, the dam is open, and then
okay,
they pull it away later, okay?
And that's just to clarify, there's a concrete man-made dam that has a notch in the middle where the water comes through, and Also a great place to catch debris flowing out of Pine Meadow Pond towards Flanagan. And the beavers can exploit that as well. Below that concrete dam, I'd say it's about 30 feet to a culvert that runs under Oak Ridge Drive and carries that water into Flanagan Pond. The reason this is, some of you, George, you'll remember back in 2011, somebody probably tampered with a beaver dam way over by Autumn Ridge, the Rock Meadow Pond, and that released a huge amount of water that washed out Oak Ridge Drive at this particular site. So it's both important to keep that dam cleared, because a failure of that dam, or if that dam were to be undermined on the sides by water flowing around it when it's overtopping, that could have impact on the culvert not too far away. And that in turn could put that road back in peril again, which would be a heck of a lot more expensive to deal with.
Well, maybe we should have Mike look at this as a possible beaver deceiver site, but then we're getting into beaver deceivers on private property. And
that's something we should discuss with the DPW and the town manager.
Yeah.
Because there are clear town benefits here too, or town needs here, so.
Yeah. Well, and we also have, we are one beaver deceiver over our beaver deceiver budget at this point. So we need to talk to the town manager about that too.
With regards to you mentioned the beaver dam in, near Harvard, and then, off Shaker Mill Pond, and then the discussion we had, a month ago with regards to the folks in Littleton and the water getting over to them. At the end of the day, might there be a better solution in which we kind of collaborate and figure out, as these waterways are passing through multiple towns, how can we better manage these as opposed to them just being continually our burden to take care of, to make sure other towns don't have issues. It seems to me that, that might be something we should maybe look into.
Yeah. Yeah, it would be great to have there be some kind of collaborative effort here. I know the agent in Harvard and I end up talking to each other about projects on the town line fairly regularly, and we have a very good relationship. So I think we could potentially work something out, though I don't really know exactly what that would look like.
Just something for us to noodle on, but like I said, I guess I feel, as a resident of Ayer and having to fund all these fixes continually, that again, other towns are benefiting from, and basically feel they can pick up the phone and say, hey, you have a problem that's impacting us. And
yeah, it would be
kind of as Dave Aho said, well, the beavers aren't bothering us.
I can, by the way, show you a picture of the dam situation by Groton Harvard Road that I took yesterday. Let's see if you can see. You can see the notch in the dam.
Yep.
And you can see over on somewhere on the right side, you can see a big pile of brush that's been pulled away from that notch so the water can keep flowing.
Yeah.
And
does look like a good place to nestle a beaver deceiver right in there.
And you can see how on the oops, I don't know if you can see, yeah, on the top of the dam, I'm trying to get the right angle. But you can see how behind it, the pine needles, etc., start gathering, and that creates a kind of mat that it's easy to slide in front of that notch.
Yeah.
It goes up, but once the notch is blocked, then it overtops and then it starts flowing around the sides. And that's a problem too.
Just a time check, it's 9:30. I don't want to keep Cindy up too late.
Yeah, no.
So did we vote on both of those emergency certs?
No, we didn't vote on the second one. So the
Okay.
second one is,
Long Pond Dam.
yeah, so we have a motion to issue an emergency certification for Long Pond Dam. I'm sorry?
Which is the one we did already? Yeah, that is the one we have to do. Okay.
Yeah, so motion to issue emergency certification for Long Pond Dam trapping and debris removal, correct, Joanne, or is it just the debris removal?
Beaver Dam reduction.
Beaver Dam reduction.
Moved.
Second,
All right, quick roll call vote. Jen, how do you vote?
aye.
Jess, how do you vote?
Aye.
George, how do you vote?
Aye.
Vice Chair votes aye. You should be all set, Joanne.
All right, very good. I'll get those off to DEP. And then the one last thing I wanted to mention was before the weather completely closes in, maybe we take an all sites tour around town just to see, just so everybody gets their eyes on everything that we've got going on before winter comes. I don't think we did this last year, but we have done it in the past, and it's a very good exercise. So I don't even want to set a date for it right now, but just something to be thinking about.
Okay. Yeah, I do remember when I first joined, it was very informative. Jen, I'm sure you get a lot out of it.
That would be helpful.
Ken, I'm sorry, did I see your hand up? Did you want to say
I
something?
wanted to wait till the end. And if Joanne's done, then I have one brief thing. Because I didn't know if you had an area for public input, like at the end of the meeting. So anyway, as an abutter to my favorite project, Air Solar 2, I was curious. I know there's an environmental monitor that's, I guess, on staff. And I'm curious as to how I would, first question would be how I get a hold of those reports, or are you going to give a summary of those reports in your meetings, like once a month or something, maybe the second meeting of the month or something like that, because the critical nature of the construction that's going on right now. That was my first question. And the second question was, I attended, probably remember, as a, in a butter, all the conservation meetings, both the first time and the second time around. And I remember the extensive discussion about and how important it was the bank of the stream. Yet I look over there and there's logs in the bank. There doesn't seem to be any protection to the bank at all. Yet you guys probably spent 2 months or 3 months talking about how this culvert was going to protect the bank and all the design work and everything else. Yet I see no effort at all. That bank's gone. So that was my concern. And if that comes into the environmental report, how does one, get this thing squared away? I don't know.
Well, Ken, I share those weekly reports with the commission, and they're public documents. I'm happy to put you on the distribution list.
Okay, is that appropriate for the commission to do that? If it's not appropriate, then I'll wait till this.
Well, I think as Joanne said, they are public documents. It's just like she said, she issues them to us. We take a look at them and see if there's any concerns or questions, and really, if there's not, that it would be, potentially brought up during the member updates. I know in the past I've asked about, piles and stuff over on 56 Littleton Road and stuff like that. And but yeah, I see no issue with including Ken on that distribution. Anybody else?
No, and maybe when we do that all site walk, we go down and check out that stream crossing area.
Well,
Go ahead, Mark.
We have to remember that as part of this is the irony of stream crossing standards. As part of what's going to happen to get that culvert in is that stream channel gets destroyed.
Right.
And then rebuilt essentially.
Right. Right now they've got construction mats across where the stream channel is, according to the environmental monitor reports, those construction mats were not part of our approved plan. And I hate to have to say, I have not had literally a second to follow up on that.
Okay.
I think the construction mats, had they asked us, I would have administratively approved them, because that's, you know, Jess has a cat in her face now too. That's a responsible way to cross that really wet spot. But the fact is, they didn't ask us. And we were led to believe that before they started tree clearing in the back portion of the site, that they were going to get the culvert in. They haven't done that. I do know that anytime the environmental monitor sees erosion controls that have been destroyed by trees falling on them, she follows right up on the repairs. So we get the before and after pictures in the reports.
Joanne, did we specify the way that they would have to cross that stream during the construction, that matting was not allowed?
I'd like to comment on that. So Mark, one of the questions that I brought up, and Kevin Hogan brought up, that there was no possible way to build it. In the beginning, we talked about this forever and ever, and just can't do it unless you were to build a real serious bridge of some sort. So it just, what happened was the answer, I asked the question to conservation, I don't even know if you're on the board the first time around, and the answer that was given by the consultant, which was the perfect answer and floored me, was that it's not up to the Conservation Commission to dictate means and methods of construction, that your approval is based on the engineer's stamp and the quality of the drawings and, you know, the design. And
Right.
that's correct. That's the correct answer. But in the real world, if you put a guy out there on a machine, I don't even know to this date. And I met the guy, seems like a reasonable person. I went down and introduced myself because I really want to get it done now. Just get the thing done. That's my goal now. But to build a road and excavate that muck that's down there now, it's even worse, and get it stable. Don't know how he's going to do it. He's going to have to take a lot of material out of there. No place to stockpile. He's got logs all over the place, whatever. But my main concern, I'm happy if I get the reports, and I'll just, you know, keep quiet and hopefully the thing gets done. So.
Well,
Ken, and I'm assuming, Ken, when you say logs, I'm assuming that you mean it's the matting.
No, I'm talking about he hasn't taken a bit of the tree cutting off the site. So go up the street and watch him clear the site, and in a day, the stuff is clear. Down here, it's just stockpiled all over the place. So it's this mishmash. He has to drive around stuff. Things are, he hasn't, it's just, I thought, when I talked to Joanne about it, I think we both were of the mind that it was going to be like a phased project.
Yeah.
And there was never any phasing in the construction process. So I thought phase one would be, how do I build everything to the culvert and get across the culvert safely? Now that's done. Phase two, I'm in the back so I can get over the culvert with the trucks.
Yeah,
But it's like, it's all over the place going on. So
that's how it was represented to us. And
I don't think, I thought they were, one thing I did ask Joanne about, and I try to stay away from it because I say I just want to get it done, but that I would think that they owe you, I believe they owe you in the order of conditions, a method of operations, or whatever we call it, procedure. What's the term? MOP?
Method of procedure.
Method
We
of
do not
procedures.
have one.
That's a requirement. So
Yeah,
that's supposed to be there. Yeah, there's another requirement that says you can't park vehicles overnight on the site. Totally impractical requirement, impossible to do. But it was based on the fact that oil can leak from the machines and dribble down and run off into the wetlands. So I'd request that you either modify or amend or talk to them about the method or procedures of construction and get that squared away, because you're entitled to get that.
Yep. I hear you.
And the biggest irony of the whole night, or of the projects that have been going on, is to see the maturity in the great maturity of your board. We're filling 5,000 square feet of wetlands on Air Solar 2. We're not even letting them in 50 feet of the wetlands now anymore, which is great, you know. But it took, you know, projects like this that were wrong, I think, to get regulations now that are good. So I look at it as, in the long term, it's going to be a benefit maybe to have gone through this whole drill and then
everyone benefits and maybe in the end with new regulations. So
Yeah.
Well,
thank you for the time.
Yeah. Thanks, Tim. All right, so with that, just quickly, member updates, anything? Motion to adjourn?
So moved.
Second.
I won't take a roll call on that. Thanks,
we do have to
everybody.
vote. We do have to vote. All in favor?
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? Thank goodness. All right, we are done. Thank you so
Thank
much,
you.
folks.